All right, we are live at the AI Chef's AI Kitchen. Chef Kevin, how's it going?
It is going well, Chef David. Nice to be back, as always, in the AI kitchen.
Good. It's good to be here, and it's fun to be live. This is our second live show, right?
I think it's the third.
Third.
Yeah.
Could be right. But I love the live vibe, and I love the fact that we're covering the news in addition to our usual tips. And I'm excited for the show today. Should we get into right into our first tip?
Yeah,
Our
yeah.
first news story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a news story that we each picked too. So this one you pick. So let's go for it, Chef David.
All right, I'll start us off. Um, So this was the news story, and it's basically about how NVIDIA has two new reasoning models, Nematron and Cosmos. And what struck me, because I'm seeing new stuff from all these companies all the time, NVIDIA and everyone has new stuff all the time, but saw that, Zoom, Uber and CrowdStrike, but Zoom is, we cover Zoom a lot, is apparently already using it or is going to use it or is thinking about using it. And it made me think about how Zoom uses these models. And it also, was very interested in Nematron and Cosmos, but Nematron is what we're talking about here. Cosmos, just to put it aside, and let's go back to this view. Cosmos is a visual AI thing. So the idea, I think, is that robots that are actually walking around in physical, real space will have a better understanding of physics and be able to interact with things. So that's just a cool thing, but that's not what we're talking about here. Nematron, which sounds to me like a transformer, like, oh, we defeated Megatron. Oh no, it's even worse. It's Nematron. But that's a reasoning model that's supposed to be quick and accurate with trained data, corporate data, company stuff. So Zoom is using that, and it made me think, well, hold on. We just saw on LinkedIn, Zoom was all, hey, we're using ChatGPT 5 before it's even announced. We're all ChatGPT 5. So I had some conversation with some AI bots and went to Google and did some actual research. And my understanding is it uses both. Zoom doesn't really have its own AI engine. We know it uses Perplexity, right, for the web search. And I think we need to get someone from Zoom to join us here at the kitchen to verify this kind of stuff. But when you open your Zoom app and you chat with it in the panel there, and you just kind of ask it general questions, and it gives you ChatGPT like answers, that's probably using ChatGPT 5 in some way. But the stuff where it's doing like that where it's making the tasks, where it really understands your business, where it understands what you're doing, the stuff that it does with the whiteboard, maybe even the meeting summaries. I'm not sure, that might be ChatGPT-ish, but that's using the Nematron stuff. And that's what we talk about being the power of AI companion. There's so many chatbots that can ask me to help plan my birthday party. AI companion understands my Zoom world, so that supposedly is where Nematron comes in.
Yeah, so yeah, just a couple of things there because I did a session at Zoomtopia last year with Zoom security and legal counsel. So I do know, like, so first off, Zoom has a federated approach. So that means they use the best model, for whatever you're trying to do. And they're really fast, like at switching it out. So as you said, they were playing with GPT-5, but within a couple weeks, if a new model comes out and it's better at meeting summaries, for example, they will use that. But they do also have some of their own internal models because if you are a large enterprise and say, we don't want to have our data going outside of Zoom, they actually have that is an option that they support as well. So I think that the key thing that story highlighted is um, a lot of people are picking up on the different models. NVIDIA is building a lot of different models, some that are, like Cosmos, that are well trained for the physical world. You can train your robots virtually in a Cosmos created world, that there's a whole set of tools. Um, and I think increasingly, it's not so much about which model is best, but how are you using the models? And so I think that federated approach that Zoom and Cisco talks about doing that, and Microsoft doesn't talk about it as much, but they also have this smart mode thing that tries to use the right model at the right time. And also there's cost implications, Chef David, because if you're going out and paying somebody to use a third-party API, If it's a simple question, you could run it on an in-house model that doesn't really cost you anything. When you have millions of prompts and queries, that's going to save you potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So definitely a cool story and lots of evolution with all kinds of different models.
Awesome. All right, let's go on to story two. This one's from
Story two.
you want to bring up the
Yeah, there you go. Let me, whoops, I gotta click on the next, move the slide. Okay.
all
Yeah,
right.
we talked
Oh
about
yes.
five and it didn't it didn't go as smoothly for Sam Altman as perhaps he would have liked. But
Reddit exploded on this one.
yeah, what I wanted to focus on because you've talked about in the tips and tricks, how some people treat it as a tool and other people treat it as an assistant. And I this article from Futurism, I thought Chef David was particularly interesting because this is really about not, some of the articles are saying GPT-5 is getting things wrong, like labeling maps wrong, but this was really about you
Personality.
yeah, didn't like how it felt. It didn't think it was as warm and as and man, you feel bad for OpenAI a little bit because at one point they release a model and it's too sycophanty, meaning it's too fawning, it's too polite or giving, it's always telling you you're great. So in this case, GPT-5 comes out and the criticism is it's too terse and I miss the personality. So very, very quickly, like I think the next day, Sam Altman said, "Hey, we'll bring back the 4.0 model," um, but it was at least initially, and I don't know if they've changed it. It was only for the people that paid for the Plus plan, so not for necessarily the free
Yes.
users.
Yes.
Okay.
And Reddit was very unhappy about that because people had, like we've been talking about, they had a personal relationship with their chat
Right.
GPT. They did what we said to do. They didn't just give it prompts and get results and have tasks done. They made a friend out of it. And they said, what happened to my friend? All of a sudden his
Yeah.
personality got wiped out. And the screenshots they so were dramatic. Things like they'd say, hey, I finished this project. And ChatGPT 5 would say, congratulations, let me know if you want to start on the next project. And ChatGPT 4 would say, that's wonderful. You've worked so hard on this and you really deserve to be rewarded. And you must feel great about this. And it was a whole paragraph. And yes, it's too much, but it was too, some people liked it. You can't shift people that dramatically. If
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
hates it and you move away from it, that's fine. But if some people like it or some people are used to it. It was so there were all a bunch of Reddit threads, people posting all these hilarious examples and people that were legitimately upset.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it just goes, I mean, you got 700 million active users of ChatGPT. Um, Obviously, you can't keep everybody happy, but it really goes to show that people are forming these bonds. And I think it's a lesson learned for OpenAI, but also for all of us kind of going forward. Whether that's a good or bad thing, the jury's still out on that. But anyway, I thought that was a fantastic article, and I really like the picture of that baby looking super sad.
Oh, let me go back to it real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
There we go. Oh,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
took
he's like,
away my.
oh,
That was like
look.
what Reddit was like. You took away my
Yeah,
chat
yeah, I know.
GPT.
So there you go. Okay.
All right,
So,
let's move on to
story
the
number
next
three.
story. You want to queue up our next slide?
Yes.
All right. So this one is about Apple's AI plans. AKI, Answers Knowledge Information. That's a new group, a high-level group, high-level execs that have been involved with Siri. This is, Apple has a lot of projects